Have you ever walked into an exam feeling confident and ready to go, and walked out of the exam feeling stressed and worried that you got every single question on the exam wrong? Have you ever had to cram study definitions the night before a test just to get a passing grade? If so, you're not alone, and you are probably taking a standardized test. Standardized testing has dominated learning assessment for over a century. And standardized testing needs to go. Standardized testing doesn't test what we think it does. Diane Ravitch once said, "Sometimes the most brilliant and intelligent minds do not shine in standardized tests because they do not have standardized minds." This is so true. Learners do not learn through multiple choice, fill in the blank, circle the answer, and everyone has the same exam. We don't learn the same, so why are we tested the same? There are many reasons to abolish this archaic tool of assessment. However, there are some ways that standardized testing is still used and could still be purposeful in our schools. It is argued in the book The Test, written by Kamenetz, that standardized testing penalizes diversity. When teachers teach to the test, this commonly happens in standardized testing. Students do not become agents of their own learning. They become really good at memorizing, and memorizing isn't the same as learning. Students who become agents for their own learning are able to develop things like critical thinking skills way better. Why are we making all students take the same test? The book, The Myths of Standardized Testing and Why They Don't Tell You What You Think They Do, picks on the idea that roughly 45 questions on a test cannot possibly be an accurate representation of students' knowledge. Tests not only tell us as much as we allow them to, they also leave no room for student involvement during assessment. They leave no room for student involvement in showing what a student knows. Why wouldn't we be asking, "Show us what you know"? Instead, we're saying, "Show us what you know on this exam because everyone has the same one." Students may be extremely knowledgeable in a certain area or a certain topic that was covered in class, but if it doesn't appear on the standardized test, we'll never know that that student knows that. The province of Saskatchewan has standardized testing, as students at age 15 take the PISA exam every 3 years. The PISA exam is a worldwide exam that is commonly taken in many countries around the world. This test causes stress to students, parents, and teachers, and it frames entire education systems in a poor light. This PISA exam also perpetuates stereotypes. The C.D. Howe Institute was analyzing PISA exam achievements and scores and claims that Saskatchewan's low ranking in the PISA test was because of our high concentration of Indigenous students. This is completely wrong. Standardized testing is different for everyone, and perhaps areas of high poverty rate and areas of low poverty rate are going to have different exam scores. The Stats Canada says that Indigenous communities are some of the poorest in Canada. I argue that standardized testing isn't good for testing student achievement, but it can give us some insight as to what's going on in schools, where students need more help, and what areas schools and teachers need to pay more attention to. I think that's where standardized testing could be good, but should it really assess what a child knows? Heck no. Everyone learns differently, and standardized testing does not meet the needs of every student and every learner. In Saskatchewan, standardized testing also takes the form of departmental exams. These are standardized government-sanctioned exams given out to students who have non-accredited teachers. With these departmental exams, no one considers the fact that some teachers cover material differently than others. Furthermore, some students retain information differently than others. Some students aren't comfortable with standardized testing. Some students do poorly on standardized testing, but do awesome on long answer questions, do awesome on inquiry-based assessment and project assessment. I think these final exams aren't necessarily a good idea because roughly 50 questions worth 40% of a final grade isn't a fair comparison to what a student has been doing all year. Standardized testing doesn't show what students have retained, doesn't show students' capacity to learn and students' capacity to make connections. Standardized testing just tests what the test allows it to. I hope after watching this video, your ideas of standardized testing have changed. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!